It's been 10 years since the Japanese earthquake and tsunami happened. This devastating disaster struck a blow to the heart of Japan, and the country has not fully recovered to this day. Thousands of victims, billions of dollars in damage, irreversibly destroyed cities and habitats. That was in 2011. But when will it happen again? Find the answers in today's video. Friends, welcome to a new video on the Top Topics channel. The eyes and minds of most Japanese are slowly beginning to turn to the future, and everyone's realizing that the past is meant to serve as a lesson. Scientists warn that the country must prepare for the next tsunami to hit in the near future. If we look at the review of the strongest tsunamis in Japan over the last 120 years, we can conclude that a strong tsunami with significant loss of life and property occurs in Japan on average every 10 to 20 years. Well, see for yourself. Scientists are therefore warning loudly that the question isn't whether the next earthquake and tsunami will occur, but only when. This is understandable, as Japan is known to lie at the junction of 3 lithospheric plates, and Japan itself is the product of these huge underground pressures and massive volcanic activity. Therefore, 2 main questions remain: when and where the earthquake will strike, and how Japan is prepared for the next disaster. And here we don't have entirely comforting answers. But let's start at the beginning. It's very unlikely that the next earthquake will strike in the Sanriku area. Yes, that's exactly where the 2011 quake struck.
It's gonna fall.
Tsunami, yeah, we're leaving. Where do we go?
Go to the hill.
Where do we go?
Leaving him.
An earthquake this strong occurs there on average once every 100 years. Now, there's indeed another stress accumulation there, and one day a similar earthquake will strike there again, but it won't be until 70 or 80 years. And it's this area that's best prepared for the next tsunami, as after 2011 there was a massive reinforcement of new protective embankments, which were completely destroyed by the tsunami. The breakwaters are much more massive and modern. But, as we have already mentioned, the main candidates for a tsunami strike are other areas of Japan, but it's very difficult to determine exactly which part. In fact, the entire east coast of Japan, south of Tokyo, is under permanent threat because here a huge lithospheric plate collision stretches and strong tsunamis occur regularly. And if a strong earthquake were to strike in this area, Tokyo itself, which is seemingly in a safe bay, would be at risk. But, as we know from 2011, the narrow bays are a factor that greatly amplifies the effect of tsunamis. The problem with this area is that it's very poorly protected. The defenses were built decades ago, and they aren't of the quality or size needed to prevent a disaster similar to the one in Tohoku in 2011. And since 65 years passed since the last tsunamis in this area, it's quite likely that a major earthquake and tsunami will strike here in the near future. But even the west coast of Japan isn't entirely safe. It is threatened mainly by small localized earthquakes under the sea, landslides, and the countless volcanoes that are located there. Tsunamis come suddenly and without warning here, very unexpectedly, and with very devastating consequences, such as the one in 1983 in the Sea of Japan, which triggered a 10-meter high wave. Tsunamis here are not as extensive, but they are all the more aggressive. As we have already mentioned, it's impossible to determine exactly when and where, but what's certain is that the moment's approaching. Scientists are trying to exhort the government, which has invested billions of dollars to protect the northern regions. But have others been forgotten? We will see very soon. Dear friends, that's all for now. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy this video, don't bother to give it a like and subscribe. We'd be glad for your opinion on this theme, so feel free to write a comment below. See you soon at the next one.